Hello friends, welcome to Kamath Astrology. Today's topic is, does our karma or our deeds affect our children's life? So we will do a quick analysis on this topic and see whether this really happens or not. Now this is the zodiac chart which has 12 signs, and we know that in Jyotish, the first house represents the physical self, the fifth house represents children, love, romance, and the 10th house represents your karma, your profession, and to some extent also impacts your career. Now, let us assume that a person is born with the Mesh Lagna or the Aries ascendant, which is the default zodiac. Now, many people have a confusion as to what exactly is Lagna. Lagna is the sign rising on the eastern horizon at the time of your birth. When I say sign, I am referring to the zodiac sign. So, it is the point where your soul first meets the earth, and therefore, just by looking at the Lagna and seeing which planet is in the Lagna, we can easily tell you from which loka you have come. Now, the sixth house in any chart represents conflicts, diseases, and debts. Now, if the fifth house represents children, which is the sixth house from the fifth house? So, in this example, the person is born with the Mesh Lagna or the Aries ascendant. The fifth house is the sign of Leo, which represents the children of this native, and the sixth from the fifth house is the 10th house, which is the sign of Makar or Capricorn, which represents the person's karma. Now, I have not put any planets in any of these signs right now. So, if you see, the 10th house is sixth from the fifth house, and therefore the 10th house represents the conflicts, litigations, diseases, debts that your children will have to face in this life, and it is the prarabdha karma of your children which they are bound to face in this life. But your 10th house, that is your karma, is nothing but the house that decides what kind of challenges or prarabdha karma your children will have to face. And therefore, if you are doing bad karmas, your children will face problems in life. You can see many film stars, you can see many industrialists who are extremely rich and they have a lot of name and fame in society, but very often you see that the children of such people often become drug addicts, or they face severe challenges in their life. Some of these industrialists even have children who face extreme health issues, or some of them even get mentally retarded children. Now, the fifth house in any horoscope or in your chart represents the past life good deeds done by you. It is Purva Punya Karma. The 10th house is the karma you are currently doing. So, if you are doing bad karma, somewhere you are accumulating problems for your children and your next generation, which they will have to face, because the 10th house, the karma that you are doing, is actually referring to the conflicts, litigations, challenges, diseases, and debts that your children will face. And therefore, all religions say that keep doing good karma, keep accumulating good karma, do donations, give food donations to the poor, do charity, because ultimately that accumulation of good karma will go to your children and they will benefit from that karma. Now, generally, if you do not get good children in this life, it means that in past life there was some bad karma which was done by you. Because the fifth house is your previous life or past life good deeds. And fifth house also represents children. Fifth house also represents your love life. It represents your romance. So, if in the past life you have done some bad karma, then the fifth house in this life will get afflicted, and then you will face challenges in your love life, Your children will also face challenges. Many people are undergoing divorce cases right now. You can see that initially there is a love marriage, but later on things don't go well and the couples divorce. And nowadays I am seeing lot of charts which have this divorce problem. And that is primarily because of the past bad deeds that you have done, which are now affecting you and your children. Now, if you see the relation between the 10th house and the fifth house is 8th from the 10th house. 8th house refers to inheritance. So basically, your children are inheriting your karma because the 5th house is 8th from the 10th house. It shows the inheritance of the 10th house. So whatever deeds you are doing, indirectly you are transferring a portion of that karma to your children's life or to your next generations. This is very clearly seen in astrology, and I just explained to you some basics. Now, for this example, we took the Mesh Lagna or the Aries ascendant. Based on your horoscope, the ascendant may differ. Your first house may become Gemini, and in that case, your 10th house will become Pisces. Your 5th house will become Libra. So this way, based on different ascendants, different combinations are possible, but the basic concept remains the same. It means that your children do inherit the fruits of your karma. Now, very often you may see that some poor person has got very good children who study very hard, who became IAS officers or who attained high positions in life. Why is this so? Because even though this person is poor, he has done some very good karmas in his past life. And therefore in this life, he has got such children who give him name and fame. Now, if you see the wealth house of your children, it is the 6th house because it is second from the 5th house. And the 6th house is 9th from the 10th house. It is the destiny or the bhagya based on your karma. And that is what your children inherit in the form of name, fame and wealth. So whatever you do, you may be very rich, you may be very powerful, but if you are doing some very wrong deeds to get that wealth, remember that at some point in life, it is going to impact your next generations. How it will impact, that depends on the presence of the planets present in the respective signs as well as the karma which you are doing. And of course, the Mahadasha, the Antardasha which you are running, which will decide what kind of fruit will come based on those karmas. Now, if you see the 5th house, it is 8th from the 10th house. So 8 indicates an ending. 5th house also indicates your retirement from active work life. So many things the 5th house indicates, and all these things are going to impact your children in a big way. Now let us look at the 8th house. The 8th house is 4th from the 5th house, and 4th from any house represents the happiness related to that house. So the happiness your children get is seen from the 8th house. But the 8th house is 11th from the 10th house. And 11th from any house represents the wishes related to that house, your desires, your gains. So if you do good karma, then the gains that your children get increases in life. The happiness that they get increases in life. So the horoscope tells you everything. Our rishis were not just making anything and coming up with anything. There was a deep logic to everything. So definitely your karma is bound to affect your next generations, is what I want to say in this video. So to conclude, if you want your children to be happy, then in this life, do not do bad karma. Try indulging in more and more good karma. Accumulate more good karma. And then your future generations will live a much better life. If you see the natural zodiac with the Aries ascendant, the ruler of the fifth house, that is the sign of Leo, is Sun. Sun represents brightness, name, fame, and Sun can naturally give children to anyone. For example, in the Mahabharata, we know that Sun gave Karna to Kunti. On the other hand, if you look at the ruler of the 10th house in the natural zodiac, it is the ruler of Capricorn, and that is Shani. So if your karma is bad, then your Sun will also get affected. And Saturn, as we know, gives the fruits of karmas. So when your karma is bad, Saturn becomes bad. Sun also gets affected. If in your chart Sun is affected, Sun is the natural karka for children as the ruler of the fifth house. And when Sun is afflicted in the chart, generally your children will face problems in their life unless they have a very strong Jupiter in their chart which can negate that effect. So this is also the concept of Pitrudosh. In Pitrudosh, whenever the Sun is under affliction, there is Pitrudosh, especially if Sun is afflicted by Rahu, Ketu, Shani, or Jupiter is in the 9th house, or the 9th house is affected by Rahu, Ketu and Jupiter. The Pitrudosh becomes stronger especially if the 9th house in your horoscope has an afflicted Sun or afflicted Jupiter. And what is Pitrudosh? It is a portion of the bad karma done by ancestors that we have to bear in this life because we inherit our genes from our ancestors. We inherit this physical body from ancestors. So definitely our karma which we are doing right now is bound to affect our children and our future generations. So friends, if you like this video, please mark it as liked on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to our channel, you can do so by clicking the subscribe button. For any queries, write to us at astrosevaworld@yahoo.com. You can also visit our website astroseva.tripod.com. So friends, thanks a lot. Bye. Take care and stay safe.